Prior to working at Quantron, I was working in Ford Motor Company for 8 years, where I was working as a senior engineer for BOM and change management activities. I supported for a lot of Ford projects like Ford Ranger, Ford Mustang, Ford heavy duty and super duty trucks, for example. But there we were predominantly using Team Center as our PLM tool. So I'm like a kind of seeing both worlds, like working in Team Center for 8 years and now started working on 3D experience for a couple of years. So I think I'm in a better position to talk about both tools and the comparison. Currently, I manage a lot of responsibilities and a lot of topics with me. For example, I manage the 3D experience access, licenses, and the system configuration. And also, I provide the necessary trainings for the 3D experience users at my company. And also, functionally, I'm responsible for the BOM and change management topics. So I need to hand over the frozen BOM to the downstream systems on a timely manner to start the builds, and also have to drive the change management topics and make sure we are on track and the right changes are implemented on the right time. And also, I am responsible for setting up the process definitions and workflows for the BOM and change management topics. Mainly, I'm excited in couple of topics, so which are setting up the model definition, product configurations and variants for our vehicle portfolios, and I'm also working as a project manager for our PLM and ERP tool integration. So that excites me a lot because that's quite something new for me with the tool, knowing more about 3D experience as a tool and how to integrate it with the ERP system. So that's totally a new area for me, and I'm more excited to work on those two topics every day. Currently, we are using 3D experience on cloud. So, since we are in cloud, it's always the latest version. So currently, we are using the R24 FD03 release, and we are using a few licenses already. For example, for CATIA, we are using a mechanical designer and sheet metal designer, and for ENOVIA, we are using a product release engineer, configuration engineer, product manager, change governance, collaborative industry innovator, and engineering data exchange manager. And for Delmia, we are using the manufacturing process planner. So currently, this is the setup of our roles and licenses that are currently in use at Quantron. In this slide, I want to explain you how we were working in the past. This is the process that we are following, which is way too manual and too chaotic in terms of the data alignment and in terms of the communication. Here, if you see, the systems were not talking to each other, but instead the people who are working across different teams like CAD, BOM, procurement, and the component owners, they are constantly talking to each other, and it takes a lot of time and effort for them to manage all these things. So that is why we chose to go with 3D experience as a whole suite instead of just CATIA. There we got a complete suite of applications with ENOVIA, 3D Swim, Delmia, and CATIA, all pre-integrated with its unified product structure. So it's one of the cool feature, I would say, the unified product structure, where you don't have to align the CAD between the CAD and PLM. So it's already pre-aligned and pre-integrated together. Whatever we are seeing in blue is already implemented, and we are live with this process since 7-8 months. But the one in orange that you show that I'm showing here is currently in progress. We are currently working on this integration, where we create the model definitions, variants, and product configurations in PLM, and then we apply the filters and we narrow down it to 100% BOM, and then we transfer this 100% BOM to the ERP system for the downstream systems to start with their production orders and yeah, to create the production BOMs there. So that is still in work, and so this is our current setup of 3D experience at the moment. Currently, I'm in the test tenant. Whenever you create a new part or a product, so there we also included some of our custom attributes here. We have set up, we have configured these attributes in the backend, so our users can fill in all this information while creating the part. And I'll just create an sample for part for you. So currently we are in the draft maturity state. So in our business process, but I'm not sure in most of the companies, organizations, they will start to work from the in-work maturity state. But we went a step back, and we were creating all the parts from the draft maturity state. So the user creates the items at draft, and he provides and he populates all the metadata information about this part, and then the user promotes it to in work. And so this in work is now a trigger point for the integration system. So now the integration will start to pick this job in the backend, and it tries to transfer it to our ERP system, and it assigns the part number back to the PLM system. Okay, so this is our sample structure, which I created in the test run just to play around with the model definitions and configurations. And currently, this is how we set up our product structure. We classified into groups. So each group, there is a specific component owner responsible for each of this group, for high voltage, low voltage, chassis, and battery components, for example. And for this, we have set up the model definitions in the backend. Okay, and for this, I have created a variance based on the market, base vehicle, and inverter type, and the battery type, just for an example. And I have variant values for each of this variant, and there is no accessory or options group at the moment here. And also, there are no rules set up at the moment. And so I have created already a product configuration based on these variants. And um, yeah, so for example, if I open it, so this is a variant for prototype with medium range battery. The filters are the market goes only for Euro 4 by 2 axial type, and the low spec inverter, and the medium range battery. So these are the filters for this product configuration. And yeah, so also we need to we also have the release process for this product configurations. So currently everything is at private now, but there is a certain process behind, like at what point of time we promote this, and when we release a certain product configurations. Right. I mean, earlier we never had ENOVIA at all. As I mentioned earlier, we were just working with the Excel files, and it was really difficult to manage the revision control, and mainly we had challenges in managing the product configurations. So it was really difficult to map which part is applicable for which variant, and what is the effectivity, the variant effectivity and the evaluation effectivity for each item in the product structure. It was very difficult. And also, every time when someone opens the Excel file, it's nobody is 100% confident that if it is the latest information or not. ENOVIA is more helpful for us in terms of the data management, and in terms of, and it makes our life very easier in terms of the configuration, and narrowing down the bill of material for 100% BOM. And so it's like a a central location where everybody can go and access the up to date information in one common place. So as I mentioned earlier, I was working with Team Center in my previous company for almost 8 years, and working with 3D experience for the past 2 years at Quantron. And I can now clearly see the difference between the pros and cons of both the systems. But I would strongly recommend everyone for 3D experience, because the first impression I got is it's very user friendly, and also at the same time it's very powerful. You just don't realize how powerful it is just with a very simplistic user interface. But then once I start getting more working more into the system and getting more involved during the tool integration process, then I realized that it is very powerful, and it's very easy to learn in a quick time. It's like just I mean, hardly it took at least probably a month for me to understand the interface and work with the options. It was that easy, I would say, at least for me. And it made our lives 3D experience made our lives a lot easier at Contron here, because I don't have a difficult time in giving training to the new users, because most of the options and icons are pretty much self-explanatory, and even before I give the training, they themselves understand what is the logic behind, and what it's the options or icons are meant for. The main reason is for me to learn more about the tool and to grow with the community, and also I want to guide others in certain areas wherever I can support. So I see ENOVIA Champions program as the community and the group as a more like an group of very professional and highly skilled persons. Also, the other point about the ENOVIA Champion is that it's not just always learning from others. At some point, with the experience that whatever I gain from this community and from the people, I want to guide and help others in the community in the future.